Tapptitude?
Tapptitude is a digital product agency specialized in building mobile products. We're a team of 50 people right now, and we have the capabilities to cover the full spectrum of services for building a product. That means product strategy, UX, UI design, development on all components like front end, back end, web components, testing, and also product management, the thing that is not usually part of such agencies.
For how long have you been doing this?
We've been doing this for almost 5 years. And in all this period, we've worked a lot with startups from all over the world and from various industries. As a result of that, we have all the processes and mindset well tuned to help startup founders define the product, build the product, and in most cases, grow a product.
How can Tapptitude help a startup?
The first area in which we can help a startup is in the very early stages of such a venture. They have an idea, but they are far from having a fully defined product. And we have an entire process where we go from an awesome idea that the startup founders have to having a fully defined product that is ready for development. So it means having all the decision taken in the product, having designs done, and having all the implications for having such a product. The second thing we help startups with is development itself, so building the products once we have that initial product defined. That covers stuff like design, development itself, like testing, product management, all the kind of the usual capabilities a product needs in order to be built and launched into the market. And a third area where we help a lot is once you have a product in the market, you need to first maintain the product and then grow it, which means have new features, have new updates in the product, expand the product so that you can meet better the needs of the market. Again, that is where we are a product partner as the business, as their startup grows.
What are the best tips on building a better product, especially when you are a startup?
So working with startups along these years, we've seen a few patterns repeating themselves on and on. One such pattern is the fact that startup founders tend to build too much of their product initially. That usually happens because they don't think they have enough value in a smaller product. So they try to add more stuff, believing they will add more value to the user. But that's usually not the case, especially if you build something innovative. Because when you do such a thing, you start from a point where you don't really know if people need such a thing, if there are enough people to engage with your business. You don't know how to acquire those people. You don't know how to engage them with the product and so on. So building too much of the product initially only ends up in a too big investment or a bigger investment, but not from a point where such investment is justified because it's needed. So first of all, you need to validate that there is a need, there is a market for that, and then conceive a first initial offer, first initial value in the smallest product possible, and put that in front of the users and get the users to experience it and see how they react to that initial value. A second pattern that we've seen is startups founders focusing too much on the product details instead of focusing on what's important for the business. So instead of looking at how to acquire users, how to validate product, they focus on the color of a certain button or how, a certain form is implemented, all these details. And we've seen on and on such things resulting in lost time, so implicitly lost opportunities to go to market, lack of focus to understand what users want instead of focusing on what they want as founders.
When somebody comes to you with an idea only, what's Tapptitude's typical building process for a product?
The first step of this product definition phase starts with a workshop where startup founders come here and we work together to define a few things, to decide a few things basically. So what the business model will be for the all around the product. which covers things like what is the problem, who is the audience, how they will provide the value for those users, and how they will be different than the alternatives that they have in the market right now. From that business model, we dive deep into the product details, which is what are the core user flows, what are the types of users, and how they will experience the product, which components they will have in front of the users, and what components the product architecture will have. So that will be kind of the first step. The second step after that is where our UX designers create the wireframe, so create a visible product that will display the core experience for the users. Once you have the wireframes locked down, so fully defined, we go into UI, so into proper designing all the screens in the product, like pixel perfect design. Once we do this initial product definition phase, we have all the elements that would allow us to give a good estimate for like timeline for development, budget for doing that, the type of resources needed to launch such a product, so to build it and launch it in the market.
Is there a recipe for building a great product?
No, it isn't. So people ask this question, if there is a recipe for building a digital product, but it isn't, because the reality is that you'll start from a unique problem, and hopefully you'll find a unique way to solve the problem. So along these two components, you'll have a lot of like customized elements that some of them have been like repeated in other products or in other businesses, but the unique combination of them, I mean, the combination of them is unique in your case. So you have like a specific audience, you have a specific struggle for that audience, you have a specific way to get that audience into the product, and you have a very specific, usually, way to engage the audience in the product. Probably the unique like recipe side of this is the fact that the development process, or the typical process to go from an idea to a launch product, can be pretty much the same. So you need to define a product, hopefully in an interesting business model, and then like build the product in the quickest time and with hopefully the lowest amount of resources, then launch the product in the market and start validating that you have good value for the users, you're able to actually reach those users and get them engaged with the product, and hopefully like monetize the product or monetize the business itself.
What should a startup founder do before they come to Tapptitude to help them build a product?
Okay, so there are quite a few things a startup team should do before coming to a product partner like ourselves. One core thing is to have a team. So we advise, especially like single founders, to have a team there, because building a product and building a startup is a difficult journey, and you need that kind of support. Another thing a startup team should do before coming to us is to validate that there is a real need that their product will tap into, will solve. Okay, so that means either by having done some like market research, like user feedback, or having experience in the specifics of that market and that need. Another important thing is to have a clear idea on what the product will be. So more than an idea, having more like a product definition already done. So that usually translates into having product specs, having designs, or having wireframes, or having a prototype in the best case, that will show somebody like us how you as a founder or you as a founding team thought about the product. That might not be the right solution, the right product, but that will give us a good understanding, or a good basis for understanding.
Why would someone choose Tapptitude?
People choose us because they want a reliable product partner to help them build the product and launch it and grow it. So that means they usually look at our history. So they look at the stuff that we've done. They've been impressed by that. They see that our previous clients appreciate a lot working with us, and they also see that we've delivered in all those cases. So this establishes like a fundamental trust basis for the relationship. And then like we go into the specifics of the product, trying to find the right match between what they need and what we can offer. And in most cases, if they build something on mobile, if they build a product where the mobile experience is the core experience in the business, we're able to help because we have the experience and we have the resources to cover those areas. I don't know, from strategy to development itself to product management. Another element which is like an umbrella on top of all this is the fact that we provide very good value. So we deliver good products, we deliver good services for a good price, for a fair price, especially compared to like agencies from London or Silicon Valley or New York or stuff like this. We usually compare to an agency in London, but we're at a fraction of the cost of such an agency, and that provides a huge value for a client.